So, welcome back to PWTB, everybody. I'm Jake. I'm here with Evan. Evan, how are you doing?
Doing good.
And we have our first guest of the day, Sam. How are you doing, Sam?
Hey, I'm good, Jake. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. Um, and this is just a question I like to ask every guest we got going on here. Um, what can you tell us about yourself?
Okay, so I'm faircatch.nfl on Instagram. So for all the past few years, I've just been doing all this work on the draft, just learning about the NFL in general, for years and years. So I figured, why not just make an Instagram account about it? Because I'm doing all the work anyways. It's just wasted workspace if I don't join it. So I made my Instagram account and I had y'all hit me up. So, here we are.
Yeah, and the draft's always fun to cover. So we're
Yeah,
gonna jump right in. The first player I want to go over is tight end Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton
Um,
Kincaid.
what's your initial scouting report on Kincaid?
I haven't watched like too much film on PK, but I have glossed over a little. I remember one time last year during the season, it was who were they playing? I think it was USC, that late night USC game. I don't know if you stayed up to watch that. Kincaid had like 15 catches and Utah beat USC. That was my first impression on him. So I really do like Kincaid, his route running. Um, he can just get open. Like
Are you
he's
talking
probably the
about the
best
ti- Are
route.
you talking about the title game or the
No, no,
like?
no, no, no. The regular season game. Regular
Oh,
season game
okay,
versus
yeah, yeah.
USC. Sorry. He had like
No, you're
15
good.
catches. He went crazy. Um, and yeah, he's probably like the best route running tight end in this class. I have him as my current tight end too. Behind Darnell Washington, who I believe we'll talk about later. What do you got, Jake?
Yes. I'm with you. I haven't watched a lot of film on Dalton Kincaid. I've crossed over some. The thing I got for him, the two biggest things I've got for him is he's a very physical tight end. He can block. He can also get open a lot. And, Cam Rising, he can hit him too. So he can catch, footballs. And I really like that with him. I got him as tight end one in front of Darnell Washington, actually. We'll get into that a little bit later. The next player I wanted to talk about was cornerback Keely Ringo. Um,
Uh-huh.
what do you got about him?
Okay, so I'm a Tennessee fan, and are you a
Okay.
Georgia fan with that hat?
I am a Georgia and Miami fan.
Oh man. So I'm a Tennessee fan, and unfortunately I saw how good Keely Ringo is when he was sunning Tillman and Hyatt just over and over. His physical, that's the main problem with the Tennessee receivers that I see as far as transitioning to the NFL, is their physicality is not up there. They need to work on that. But Keely Ringo is someone who does not need to work on his physicality. He I saw a crazy stat that about his speed the other day. He's going to be a combine riser for sure when he runs that 40. He's
Yep.
massive, long arms, big hands. I really like Keely Ringo as a prospect. I have him as my cornerback one, which might be surprising to some.
Yeah, I've actually got to agree with you there. I have Keely Ringo as my quarterback one too. Some film that I have watched on Ringo, he's very physical. Like you mentioned, he stays with the wide receivers. He doesn't. I feel like one of the things he needs to work on a little more though is looking for the football, looking back for the football. You know, he's gotten called for a couple costly passing interference calls that wouldn't have been passing interference calls if he just looked back for the football.
No, Jake, what do we
And I feel
say?
like that's
Flip
feel
the
like more of
hips.
that turn your hips, turn the hips.
Flip the hips.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
someone who really turns his hips is Devon Witherspoon. I don't know if y'all know him. Um,
yeah,
I've watched some film
from
on him.
Illinois.
Yeah, he's probably one of like the best like day one corners, but I have Keely Ringo as corner one just because his physicality is upside. He has way more upside than anyone else in this class. But
Yes.
day one, he might be a little shaky compared to some of them.
Yeah, that speed is really gonna help him out. Um, so the next player we got is tight Darnell Washington, who we kind of went over a little bit earlier. I know you got him as
Uh-huh.
cornerback as tight one in the class. What can you tell us about Darnell?
So fun fact about Darnell Washington. I was just on Instagram. I made an Instagram like a scouting profile for him, so I know good. I did a full tape study on him. His Instagram tag is Darnell the sixth lineman Washington. If that doesn't like give you enough context on who he is as a player, he's like 6'7", 270, I believe. Yeah, 6'7", 270. He's just an athletic freak. He would be great in like a power run scheme. He can block anyone on the field. He can block ends. Like I've seen him block like three techs before. I was amazed at that, you know. And then of course he's not a perfect prospect, so there is some work to do in the receiving game. But his route running, as far as like a short route tree, he can run mesh. You can run meshes inside routes. You can run outside routes as long as they're within the first down sticks. So like, and he has a really big catch radius just because how massive he is. Um, some people say he needs to work on his speed maybe, but my thing with him is he's a long strider, so he might run pretty fast at the combine or his pro day, whatever he chooses to run at. But it's gonna look like he's running slower than he actually is, like a lot of those players. But his his upside in the receiving game is there too, just as much as the blocking game.
Yeah, I really like Darnell Washington. I got him as my tight end too because I feel like he's still got some stuff to work on. I feel like, but he's massive. He's a massive guy. He's everything you want in a tight end. Um, I just think John Kincaid's better in the receiving game. Um, you know, the other guy you wanted to talk about was the wide receiver from, I believe he's still at Maryland,
Yeah.
with Team Jarrett.
hmm
Um, what, because I know you really like him. What can you tell us about him?
Okay, so funny story. So something I do for my like prospect scouting, I DM all these prospects and I say, "Hey, I'm about to release a scouting profile for you. Is there anything you'd like me to say about it?" Right? I don't know if y'all saw the post or not.
Yeah,
I DM'd him. He responded to me. He's a pretty good player. He's like 30,000 followers and stuff. So I was surprised he actually responded. He said, "I'm an effing dog." Y'all can imagine what that F was. I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay, that tells me everything I need to know about Raheem Jarrett. First off, he's definitely on
yeah,
social media a lot. So if y'all want to talk to Raheem Jarrett, just DM him. He'll see it. He's 5'11", 190 is what my notes say. He's a consensus like round 5+ player like right now. And to me, that's like way too high. I'd be comfortable drafting him maybe round 3, 4, just because his upside in the NFL these days, teams looking for like guys with like wiggle, burst, twitch is the word I see a lot of scouts use. I like that word to describe players. The Giants took Kadarius Toney in the first round just based on that reason, just because how twitchy he is as an athlete. And that's kind of what I see with Raheem Jarrett. He has like near track speed. He's really fast. He can just wiggle through defenders. The problem with Raheem is the same problem a lot of people have with Darnell Washington is his college production wasn't very good. But to me, that's really not that big of a problem because if you can play, you can play, and these NFL coaches will find a way to get you the ball. So, and also Raheem Jarrett's also very physical in every phase of the game, which some like he's very physical, which is really impressive for a guy his size. The main problem with him is how small he is. He's 5'11", 190, but he doesn't look it, if I'm being honest. And his like catch radius is really small. He's not gonna a guy who's gonna go up the field, go up and get it or anything like that. But overall, I really like his upside as like a round 3 type player. I have him as my wide receiver 15 right now.
yeah. I mean, he's Raheem Raheem Jarrett is obviously a really good wide receiver. You were talking about his size a little bit there. That's going to play a little bit into it. But the upside is great. I got him as wide receiver 11 right now. Um, I know you said you wanted to talk about this quarterback class as a whole. So let's begin with the obvious number one pick in the draft, maybe. Depending who that number one pick is, if it's the Bears or if they trade back. Let's talk about the first quarterback, Bryce Young. Uh, so obviously there's a lot of film on him out there. He's been talked about that as number one overall pick for a while now. Uh, what have you seen in his game that stands out to a lot of people?
I see all these people trying to give like player comparisons for Bryce Young, but there really isn't a player comparison. Now, I kind of hate this comparison, but the closest one I can think is Patrick Mahomes But everyone wants to
Yeah.
compare everyone to Patrick Mahomes. But the reason that he's compared to Patrick Mahomes is because how well he plays out of structure, of a play. He can just get out of the pocket, extend a play, make a play, go with his legs. He can do so many things. That's why I have him as quarterback one, because no one else in this class can even come close to doing what he does. And people have a problem about his size. He's like, what, 6 foot, 180, 190 maybe. But he doesn't even look that. He looks on the field. You see in the huddle, you see 10 guys in the huddle. You're like, where's the 11th? But no, it's just Bryce Young behind a bunch of really small guys. That's what it looks like. But overall, especially with the way that they protect quarterbacks nowadays, like I really don't see that as that much of a problem as some other people do.
Yeah, and Bryce Young, there's obviously a lot of things to like about Bryce Young in his game. He can evade pressure. His throwing deep is one of the best footballers I've ever seen him throw. He can throw on the run. He's got great slants. Um, he makes a lot of plays with his legs. He's an all-around talent and athlete. He's got a great arm. He's as accurate as any quarterback in this class. I think one of the main issues and the thing you brought up is his size. Can he go up against these taller guys in the NFL? And I feel like that's going to be a little bit of an issue for Bryce Young. Uh, let's. I have him as quarterback one in the class. So I think we both see eye to eye on that. So let's
Yeah.
go to guy I have as quarterback two in the class. So I actually got Will Levis.
Oh,
Um, where do you got him in the class, and what can you tell us about Will Levis?
He has been supposedly ridiculed for that, drafting him to Atlanta, you said?
Yes, I have on
Yes.
my Instagram
So
story.
are you here to ridicule him, or are you here to side with him? Where do you fall on this?
I'd fall more on the ridicule side. I'm not the biggest Will Levis guy, as a lot of people aren't the biggest Will Levis guy. Um, I want to say the thing about Will Levis is the more film I watch on him, the less I like him. So I'm sorry.
Mm.
Um, and
See, I gotta
of
go
course,
the complete opposite. The more I watch him, the more I like him.
What do you like
mm,
about him, Jake?
He's got a lot of upside. He's got a big arm. He's mobile. He's got that quick release. Um, he doesn't get brought down a lot. He slips out of tackles. He's got that pocket presence. I mean, like, he's got that
I
pocket presence
Sam?
of a first round quarterback, of a top two quarterback.
Yeah,
I
Sam, what do you
agree.
think? Yeah.
I agree with everything you said, except for the slips out of tackles and the pocket presence. I think those are both like cons of his, because his pocket presence is sometimes shaky. Of course, it's something you can work on, but the whole plus side people like on Will Levis is he plays in like an NFL style offense, and he
Hmm.
was bad in the NFL style offense. You know what I'm saying? And also, I just don't see him as like he's built like a linebacker, so he can go through tackles, but I don't see him like getting around tacklers, or he runs like Josh Allen, and people love to throw out that
Yeah.
comp. He
Okay,
runs like
so
Josh Allen.
yeah, so in terms of time, Jake, just run through. I want you to run through the rest of your quarterback rankings. Then let's see what Sam thinks about them, and then I have a
I
question
got
for Sam at the end. But yeah,
so I'm just gonna go through my top five. Obviously, I got Bryce Young and I got Will Levis. I got Anthony Richardson at three. Quick, agree or disagree with that?
I would have, because I have CJ Stroud at 2. So for your rankings, I would have CJ Stroud above Anthony Richardson. But also, I'm really not that big of a fan of anyone outside of Bryce Young in this class. It's not
Hmm.
me
I
having
agree.
CJ Stroud at 2 isn't CJ Stroud praise. It's kind of just hating on everyone else in the class, if I'm being honest.
I agree. I think this
So
is a weaker class. But go ahead, Jake.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is definitely a weaker class than most of the classes we have seen. So really quick, 4 and 5, I got CJ Stroud at 4, and I got Henry Hooker at 5. Um, Henry Hooker plays a great game all around. He's a great all around quarterback. I think any team that drafts him is going to be very happy with him.
Yeah, I had a Ryan Tannehill comp for Hendon Hooker, because he can come in and give you like something that you'll like, you know, something that's okay. You'll be happy with it for the third, fourth round whenever he gets selected. But also, the age, injury. That's why I have him at 5. And I wouldn't hate moving him down a little bit. Even being a Tennessee fan, it hurts my heart a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Georgia fan, but apparently I go for Tennessee in a lot of sports. I don't get how that makes sense, but
And
yeah.
I'm a Titans fan, and I can agree with that
Warriors.
comp.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm a Titans fan
Warriors,
as
I
well,
guess.
so that's
Awesome.
why I see that.
So really quick, um, just back and forth stuff. Your favorite player in the 2023 draft class?
That's a tough question. I was not ready for that. Let's see. I
Take a
really like
shot.
Roshan Johnson. I just released my RB rankings. I don't know if y'all saw those. I have him as RB3, which I got a decent
Mm-hmm.
amount of backlash for, not gonna lie. But the thing about Roshan, the first thing is he was a backup. So people see that as a problem. Same thing with Darnell Washington. They see that as a problem. But the thing is, the guys starting in front of them are generational prospects in Bijan Robinson and Brock Bowers for Darnell Washington. So I don't see him being a
Yeah,
backup as a problem. He's a really big back. He was clocked in. He was clocked in at 22.6 miles an hour on GPS. He's really agile, has awesome play strength, gets hit, starts churning his legs, always falls forward for extra yards. The thing with him is he's not going to really give you much in the receiving game. And he's 6'2", 225, so he's really tall back. And sometimes it plays too upright, so it gets hit from the low spots and falls down. But the thing is, his contact balance is like pretty good, especially for someone his size. So he's the best like pure runner in this class for me, outside of Bijan, of course. So that's why have him as RB3, despite him not being a receiver.
yeah, I have as RB4. Um, my favorite player in the 2023 class, and I feel like this is a lot of favorite player. This is a lot of people's favorite players is Jalen Carter from Georgia. He's very physical on the defensive line, and he can get swept any rhythm the offensive line has. Um, so really quick, let's just preview the 2024 draft. Who's your favorite player in that draft? I don't know if you looked at too many players,
Mm,
but
I the guy who I thought was going to come out this year is, I don't know how to say his first name, but Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him. He's a tackle. For me, he would have been tackle one in this class because he's 20, 21. He's really young. That's why he stayed back in college, but he was still eligible. He's really long, like Gumby like arms, can hit the guy first no matter what. And the thing that stands out with me is his leverage. He's a tall guy. He always uses his leverage to hit up on a guy, which is really
right.
impressive. And also, he only has like 1 year, 1.5 years of starting experience, and he's gotten better like every single time. He's also an awesome athlete, so he could be like a top 10 pick for sure in the 2024 draft.
Yeah, in the 2024 draft, my favorite player is actually a quarterback. He's a quarterback of the Washington Huskies, Michael Penix Jr. He's got a lot of upside.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah.
he has a
And
really
then the
pretty deep ball.
final player I wanted to talk about was from this class, Max Duggan, from TCU. I really think he deserves to be in the national championship. I don't think that it really went his way, 65-7, but I feel like he really deserves to be there. There's a lot of upside with Max Duggan. I see him as maybe a late sixth round pick or early seventh round pick. But there's a lot to like about him. What can you tell us about him?
Of course, there's a lot to work with him, or he wouldn't be a sixth, seventh round prospect. But I can see someone just taking a shot at him like they love to do in the later rounds. If someone like I could see maybe the Broncos drafting him to play a backup role, and plus Sean Payton's there now, so he could play like a Taysom Hill role. He can just be very versatile, do whatever you want for him. So, and I like him as a player, but he has a lot to work on. He had a really bad Senior Bowl, is what I'm seeing. But
Right,
he's a good athlete, and he can throw the ball. We saw at TCU.
right.
Yeah.
So, Evan, I'm gonna open it up to open discussion
Yeah,
now.
I think I had a question, but I think it really got answered. But
Yes.
anyways, we're gonna be doing an NFL draft discussion when we get closer, maybe even a big event. And I think we found someone who might provide some insight to that. So we may have to hit you up again, Sam. But anyways,
Yeah,
follow his
We
page. I'm
appreciate,
sure.
yeah.
What's up?
Well, link that page down below. We appreciate you coming on, and
yeah.
we will see you next time.